the Real Bravado Network, and we address Black relationships from an image perspective. Image impacts and influences your life and life experiences. It also determines how you are treated and influence how people interact with you. Image is the reputation that you are known for, which includes your behaviors, your character, and your appearance. There's nothing more damaged than the image of the Black man in America. The Real Bravado Network's next phase of development with our live stream, Have the Conversation, will focus on his image. The Real Bravado Network will be asking, how can a Black man be a leader of his community and home when the vast majority of Black men have never been led? Leadership is taught and a skill that needs coaching, development, and refinement. Over the next few months, we will complete a forensic examination of his image. Please join the Real Bravado Network on YouTube, but we dare to be the bold, not silent.
Welcome to the essence. Sit back, relax, vibe with me. Slides by choice. You know? Yeah, yo, I hit the world with a change up. Now I'm chillin' like Kirk Schilling when it's time to raise the stakes up. My banks, money, makeup. Big D's is back like Jordan, just to come to change the game up. Teddy P with my wake up, precise like electric scales. When the KB flake up, when I need break up. Lick the board up one roll like it was a whole chunk breaker. Swing or get swung on, dug or get dug on, play or get played on, fade or get fade on. I'm from West Coast, so it's known as the dough. Hot topics plus melodics make a back dance flow. From nothing to this, a playlist, state of bliss, spit venom in eyes like to Jerry with the green mist. Vision this life, rode inside of one night. My bad, you're doing that cause you're in the vibe ride.
Jumping off with me, street captain, play the shake, play. Slide now, tell me, can you feeling that vibe? Come on, it's popping off, change, trying to make the vibe just tell me, can you be real with that?
This is the maze of a soulful blaze, and D's keeps hands raised like it was a song of praise. It's on for days, and the nights is even better cause the sun always shines in stormy weather. It's for a heavy yellow resident, present the past, slow or fast, it's the voice that I represent. Vibe makes it evident, and the Midwest status of course makes it even more relevant. Rap games through the sky, highlights out the box. Word breaks out of bodies like a case of the speaker's box. From the meanest blocks to jazzy reefer spots, dance clubs, beauty shops, cider halls and truck stops. Believe it or not, this whole moment's a glamour shot. I do kill cats, cause the shit'll get off the pot. Little voice in my head, so show 'em what you got. Take 16 bars and put the game on lock.
Jumping off with me, street captain, play the shake, play. Slide now, tell me, can you feeling that vibe? Come on, it's popping off, change, trying to make the vibe just tell me, can you be real with that?
The game goes back and forth, and D's bring order like cases in just Mathis Court. I rhyme some sport, you know. And a 10 plus rap rating means I got dime support. I hold the fort, get too deep to abort. Now Taylor's getting older, I ain't coming up short. Now it's bust till we break bones, cause it's the future riding on what I spit in microphone. My voice bouncing off the time zones, since I'm trying to be your more listeners' ears than dial tones. Reception is crystal clear, especially with a gap of longevity beyond a year. It's all real, I'm on a master plan. In that, build your squad around me like I'm Elton Brand. Put up 20 and 10, cause I'm a grown man. Plus the vibe is love, like an Nazi caravan.
Jumping off with me, street captain, play the shake, play. Slide now, tell me, can you feeling that vibe? Come on, it's popping off, change, trying to make the vibe just tell me, can you be real with that? It's jumping off with me, street captain, play the shake, play. Slide now, tell me, can
king, cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, and I will never knew. Plotting for my fall, you getting hanged for treason. I don't aim to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can, yo. Can't even get lost, I'm on a pedestal, sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold, I don't do no hoes, I've got a queen though. I'm a king, cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, I told you guys before, ready for the war, to get me way much more. Gather all these parts, add them to my kingdom. Shout out to my fans for pledging your allegiance. You get a reward, the best flow you've ever heard. I don't be mixing with birds, I'm a lion on the surge. Always pushing to the edge, facing arrows, never scared. For my greatness I'm a servant, only under myself. I'm a king, cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to
Can everybody hear me?
I'm busy doing my thing.
Can everybody hear me?
And you could get
All
forgotten,
right.
just let it sing.
No
I
struggle
don't
for
play,
today.
I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, cause I do what I want and what I need.
We're gonna be
I
in and
don't
out
need you
today.
to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in.
All right, y'all. We are back. We are back. We are back. My name, we are the Real Bravado Network, and this is Have the Conversation. Listen, we're not going to be here long today. You know, I say that every time we stream, but today we truly are not going to be here long today because we got someplace to be. We got to go over. There's this guy that I call the principal of YouTube, Mr. Terrell Key. He's an actual principal, and he got something going down in about an hour on his live stream. I'm gonna drop his channel in the chat. I am normally streaming about 30 minutes from now, but I moved everything up, even the risk of losing my own little subscribers for the time being, because everybody can always watch the stream back later, especially when I clip it up. But because I believe what the YouTube principal, what I believe what he had got going today, it's worth it. Sometimes, you know, you got to tip your hat, you know, when somebody's going to do something, especially when it's going to be a good cook, you know. All right, let's get rocking and rolling because I do want to get out of here in short order so we can get over there to Mr. Terrell Key. Yeah, he's the principal, y'all. He's a principal by trade, and he's also the principal of YouTube. All right, let's get down to business. My name is TJ, and I am the creator of the Real Bravado Network. And what we do over here, the name of the show, the name of the live is called Have the Conversation, and that's what we are. And we talk about Black relationships from an image perspective. And let me be quite honest with you. Most of my life, I really never put much stock into anything related to image. Up until the last few years or so, I view image as this abstract, superficial thing that people with no substance cared about. I thought it was all about perception. But as I evolved, I realized how short-sighted that I was with that thought process. Image is a little bit more than just perception. And when taken seriously, it's nowhere near superficial, okay? Black men, you are not Jesus. Okay? I'm going to say that one more time. Black men, you are not Jesus. And we got to hold that thought real quick because, like always, there's always somebody who's willing to drop a bomb in the middle of the show, stop the progress, right off rip, just like he did the last time. We got to give it up to him. And how do we give it up?
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
That's right. The YouTube principal himself, I spoke him up. He came through, dropped a 20 ball for your brother in support of the show and the stream. I appreciate that. You know what? Because he was first out the gate, I'm going to do it again.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
And because Mr. Terrell Key in about an hour is going to be dropping some bombs on his channel, we're going to go ahead and give him a premature bomb dropping. Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Terrell Key, for the support right out the gate. Okay, let's get rocking and rolling. And hey, and don't y'all be shy. Those of you who are ghost watching, don't be shy. Don't let Mr. Terrell Key, just because he came in with a 20 ball on your brother, hey, I'll take $1.99. I really will. I'll take 99 cents. Help out, and we reinvest everything that we do over here back into the platform, back into the content. And that's what we're trying to do over here. Okay. Let me get rolling, y'all, because I don't want to take up much time. Life is unpredictable. Many of us, including me, struggle with accepting that there are things we cannot control. There are things we cannot bend to our will just because we have the resolve to do so, or the heroic attempt, or because we got the heroic attempt to make it so. Life is unpredictable, and so many things are out of our control. No matter how many safeguards we put in place, we have a hard time dealing with the fact that there is no guarantee in life. Many of us will often get stuck because we had a bad decision or a series of bad decisions, including who we let in our life and how many people you had that you just were silly with, even the amount of kids you might have with somebody or peoples. Nonetheless, despite some of our best efforts, we will face setbacks at some point in our lives. Whether it's a failed relationship, it's a job loss, it's a health issue, or any other challenge or setback, any other challenge. Setbacks can be incredibly difficult to deal with. But the blessing in the storm is overcoming the setback. Do that. Overcoming the setback. Doing so, that can lead to many benefits that can positively impact our lives and send your life in an unexpected direction that bears fruit that you never, ever imagined. The benefit of overcoming setbacks is resiliency. Resiliency is the ability to bounce back from difficult situations and to adapt to change. When we face setbacks, we have the opportunity to build our resiliency by learning from our experiences and finding ways to move forward. Resiliency is an essential skill that can help us navigate future challenges, and it gives us the tools and wisdom to recover more quickly. Another benefit of overcoming setbacks is personal growth. When we face adversity, we are forced to confront our weakness and limitations. By overcoming setbacks, we can develop new skills, gain new knowledge, and become more self aware if we choose to. This process of personal growth can lead to increased confidence, improve your relationships, and establish a larger sense of purpose. How many times with men do we talk about he needs to have purpose and he needs to be on his purpose? You cannot have purpose. You cannot get on your purpose without a setback. Your purpose cannot be defined or revealed without a setback. When we face challenges, we are often reminded that the things that are truly important in life, such as our relationships, our health, and our passions, by overcoming setbacks, we can develop a greater appreciation for those things and find greater joy where we didn't think to look in the first place. Another benefit of overcoming setbacks is that it can lead to new opportunities. Setbacks can often be a catalyst for change, and they can help us see things in a new light. By overcoming setbacks, we can open ourselves to new experiences, new relationships, new opportunities that may not have otherwise been considered by us. Overcoming setbacks can help us become more compassionate and empathetic towards people. When we face adversity, we are often reminded that the struggles that others may be facing. By overcoming setbacks, we can develop a greater sense of compassion and empathy towards others who may be going through similar things. This can lead to stronger relationships and a stronger sense of community. Before we go a little bit further with this discussion, let me make a statement. Let me redefine my statement. Black men, you are not Jesus. But Black women want you to be. And even if you were, being Jesus for a lot of our women still wouldn't be good enough. What are the things that are, what are some of the things that contribute to the need? What are some of the things that contribute to the need for Black men to work harder than our other counterparts? Let's start with a little bit of historical context. And I know I'm rushing a little bit, but bear with me. We can't overlook Black men in America for having the longest history of being subjected to systemic oppression and discrimination. Okay? Everything from slavery to Jim Crow to mass incarceration, Black men have been constantly marginalized and disadvantaged by direct and institutionalized racism. This is not a complaint right now. I'm not whining about woe is me, and this is not a stream about racism. I'm just outlining a little bit of history and context right now. The legacy of racism have left a lasting impact on the economic, social, and cultural realities that many Black men face today. This physical, psychological, and emotionally concurring of Black men have also left a multi-generational impact on how our Black women view their personal safety and protection from Black men. Black women have watched their Black men be dominated in some of the most unspeakable and horrific ways that one can now argue is the foundation for her lack of respect for him and leading her to do the very thing that everyone else has done: dominate her man. Take a look at Black culture. who is in the head of Black culture are Black women. That is unprecedented in any other culture. And what do our women do with that position of authority? They do the same thing anybody else do with a position of authority. They dominate. But we'll save that for another day because we're going to get back to that. One major factor that contributes to the need for Black men to work harder for success is the perceived wealth gap. Black men are disproportionately likely. The key word there is likely. Black men disproportionately are likely to live in poverty and are less likely to have access to resources, opportunities that lead to economic mobility. Remember, the key word is likely. For example, Black men are less likely to have access to quality education, affordable healthcare, and stable housing. This lack of access to basic resources can make it more difficult for Black men to achieve success and create a cycle of poverty that is difficult to break. However, despite these likelihoods, Black men today, the average Black man, the regular old brother, only earns about $5,000 a year less than his white male counterparts. And even despite these so-called likelihoods, Black men actually out-earn their Black women by nearly $15,000 a year. Despite this narrative that Black women are out here getting the bag, you do not have to take my word for that. I encourage you to go visit blackdemographics.com or go to the Census Bureau or the Department of Labor Bureau of Statistics. And you'll learn something very clear, that only 9% of Black women earn over $75,000 a year. That means very few Black women are getting the bag despite what nonsense you see on social media. All right, let's take a roll call for the principal. We got N. Allen. There you go, from my unsolicited opinion. Thank you, N. Allen, for dropping by. Okay, I really appreciate that. And we got, like I said, Mr. Terrell Key is in the building, and he's shouting out N. Allen. All right, here we go. That means very few Black women are getting the bag. So in addition to the so-called wealth gap, Black men also face discrimination and bias in the workplace at an unprecedented clip. Studies have shown that Black men are often subject to negative stereotypes and biases that can limit their career opportunities, earning potentials, and even their upward mobility. For example, Black men are often assumed to be less competent or less qualified than their white counterparts. Even, let me tell you something real quick. For those of you who know who the Urban League is, the Urban League has in their charter, their national charter, that they have in their national charter that any CEO, president, CEO of any local Urban League cannot be white. There are one or two exceptions, and it has to be approved by the national charter if they're going to have a white CEO. The last time I checked, nationally, there was only 2 white CEOs of the Urban League. They don't play that, and that's because of this myth that Black men aren't competent. And the CEO and the Urban League is the most effective civil rights organization for Black folk out there. They're more effective than the NAACP. They're more effective than the National Action Network with Al Sharpton, and the Urban League is conservative. I'm talking about Black conservative, not Trump conservative. There's a difference. We're going to get to that too. Okay? Even when Black men have equal qualifications and experiences, the more distasteful thing is that when Black men have more qualifications and more experiences, we have to provide proof of our provenance, and they question. They got the nerve to question and sometimes outright dismiss your credentials as if there had been some mitigating circumstances that allowed you to obtain it. There's got to be a reason why you graduated from Harvard. There's got to be a reason why you graduated in the top 10% in your class. There's got to be, it's affirmative action that you become the vice president of your industry. Or like in my field, like the chief office, the chief director of the emergency room is a Black man. It's got to be affirmative action for that, because you don't see that across the country. He just can't be better because he's better. And most of your hardworking Black men are just simply better. Another factor that contributes to the need for Black men to work harder for success is the cultural pressure to conform to unrealistic standards placed on Black men. And sometimes those unrealistic standards, unfortunately, are placed by our own women. Black men are often expected to be stronger, more independent, more self-reliant, and we have to be that way in an extreme form, which can make it very difficult for us to ask for help or seek help. This pressure to outperform or be more than any other man, this expectation that is even at times placed on us by our women, can lead us to feel isolated and lonely, which can make it difficult to build strong and lasting relationships with our women. Real quick to the ladies that are in the stream right now. How many times have you encountered high-performing Black men? They're socially awkward. They are angry. They are recluses, meaning that they're loners. Think about the crushing weight that they have to be up under. And I'm not making excuses for their poor behaviors, because as men, unfortunately, I tell men all the time, unfortunately, some things are just not fair. But when things are off about you, you are responsible for fixing it. You're the leader, remember? You know, and like I stated, it makes it very difficult to build strong and lasting relationships with our women. Being a regular old man is being a regular old brother is a failing standard for us in Black America. Being Superman is just average. Being Superman is just average to our woman. Real quick, because I got to do this, because I'm so appreciative. She doesn't understand how appreciative I am, and she deserves it. And here it comes. What's coming?
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Big shout out to N. Allen, the super pharmacist. Thank you, N. Allen, for supporting me. I appreciate that. It makes me feel good. It keeps me encouraged to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to grow and improve. And when I see people like N. Allen and the YouTube principal and whoever, whenever they give me anything, their hard-earned money. People do, man, let me tell you something. There are folk out in this world that don't know or don't understand or take for granted how hard it is to earn. That dollar is, people think money is just money. Every dollar you get represents something very profound. It represents something you can't get back. N. Allen can get back $10, but N. Allen can't get back the what represents that it took to get that $10, which was her time. That time it took for her, I don't care if it took her 5 minutes to earn that $10, because she gave it to me. N. Allen can never get that $10 back. That time back. She get that $10 back, but she can't get that time back. And so when somebody sits out here and donates to us, and I've seen other content creators just really take for granted, when people, contribute to the growth of their channel, their experiences. Man, I don't take that for granted at all, because I know how hard I work. I know that when I'm tired and can't get up, or I'm aching, or I don't want to go do it, and then you turn around and you give that to somebody who just kind of treat it like as if you should have did it. That $10 is everything to me. And Alan, thank you. Thank you. Thank Mr. Terrell Key. Thank everybody for the last 3 weeks that have supported like this, because that represents something you cannot get back, and that's your time. So I really, really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. And I want my daughter to understand that. All right. Let's get back to it, because we got to go, because we got to get to Terrell, okay? So what are some of the consequences of having to work harder for success? First and foremost, it can be incredibly stressful. I just said that. It could be incredibly stressful and exhausting. Black men who are constantly working harder than their peers may experience a higher level of burnout and anxiety, which can negatively impact, and we don't talk enough about this about our Black men, but can negatively impact their mental health, their physical health. It can also lead to a sense of delusion. I'm messing up the word here. Delusionment. And it can also lead to a sense of despair, as it may feel like no matter how hard we work, we will never be able to achieve the same level of respect as our white male counterparts that get it for less. And it also gives us a sense of despair for our women, who will continue to increase their level of disdain and respect, because we are under an immense amount of pressure to overachieve. Let me tell you something as I transition this stream. This is how Black men can get brainwashed into thinking some 26-year-old white girl on YouTube knows more about us than our own woman. And this desperation for respect and cooperation can lead you to think that a 26-year-old white woman on YouTube has your back in a way that your Black woman don't. Feeling isolated, rejected, and disrespected is the recipe for betrayal. And what I have witnessed over the last 3 weeks in the Black manosphere is nothing more than a fucking betrayal. It's a betrayal of all things Black. I don't care if you conservative. I don't care if you the Hotep pro-Black. I don't care if you the Nat Turner, second coming to Nat Turner. I don't care if you in the middle. That was a downright fucking betrayal. And I blame, and I know they always talk about don't name names, man, fuck them. I don't see Jason Black no differently than I do Obsidian right now. And I like Jason Black, but what he's doing, this scorch earth shit that he's doing, is no different than the apology tour that that Obsidian did. I'm not saying fuck them men. I'm saying fuck what they did, what they're doing. I'm not attacking them directly. I'm attacking what they're doing. Y'all got me sitting here cussing in front of my baby. She's sitting right here watching me do this. The need to work harder for success and respect can also impact, like I said, your personal relationship. Black men who are constantly working hard may have less time, may have less energy devoted to building and maintaining relationships. I understand that. I work my butt off. I get it. I be tired. It can also create a sense of resentment and frustration towards those who don't have to work as hard to succeed. Remember what I just said a second ago about your high achieving Black men and watching them walk around angry or socially awkward or tight all the time because they got to do 3-4 times the amount of pole vaulting that somebody get to just step over. Black men are often expected to outperform their peers, and let me tell y'all, we do. Your high-performing brothers, we do. First of all, shout out to my pastor. He's in the chat today. Sorry, Pastor, about all the cussing I'm doing. You still got some work to do with me. Sometimes you got to be a little profane to be profound. Shout out to Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, for that. Historically, Black men have faced significant obstacles in achieving success in the United States. Like I said earlier, from slavery to Jim Crow through the ongoing civil rights fights, where Black men have had to work harder and overcome more obstacles than our counterparts in order to achieve some level of success or respect, or even respect within our own women. This is not news, and this is not a complaint of unfairness right now. This is just an illustration of facts. But despite these facts, Black men continue to simply outperform. There is an expectation that Black men have to be exceptional in order to be respected. We have to be exceptional in order to get a cute woman. We got to be exceptional in order to get a submissive woman. We got to be exceptional for our woman to not look at us like a partner. We got to be exceptional for our woman to be grateful to be a wife. And I'm no longer sure if exceptional is even good enough anymore, especially for the ever-changing whims of our women. And I'm not attacking our women at all. I'm a pro-Black man for Black women, even through all of her nonsense, even through all of her bad programming, even through I can do bad all by myself. Ain't nothing out there for me. And I'm not hitching my passport to go find some foreigner. I'm a firm believer that a Black man, if we can't conquer our own woman, why you run into somebody else and you can't conquer your own? I'm in the fight. We are often held to a higher standard than our compatriots, Black men are, with little margin for error. You know what? Forget that. There is no margin for error. For Black men like me, there's no room for grace and mercy at times. This can lead to a great deal of pressure, stress, and anger and resentment. As I said earlier, as Black men, we feel the need to constantly prove ourselves. And I am encouraging men like me to stop trying to prove any damn thing, but only to yourself. As frustrating as it might be, I'm going to say this, and I said it time and time again, Black men. Stop being a damn coward when it comes to your woman. Why are you expecting that she's going to go anywhere? Where in the hell is she going? Y'all sitting around here, you letting our women, gaslight you, talking about they gon' divest and go. Divest to what? To a one-bedroom apartment by themselves? The 2020 census just released. Black women, you got something to celebrate. Your marital rate went up from 27% to a whole whopping 28%. Black men, stop allowing this cap to come through like they going anywhere. Don't nobody want they Black ass but us. Our fight is internal. I ain't worried about no white man coming in to get my Black woman who's a 2-time baby mama with a fat booty. I'm not worried about no white man doing that. White men don't want that. Hell, we don't want it, but we'll accept it because all of us were raised in the house. Look, how many of us are walking around right now with siblings and each of our siblings got their own damn daddy? See, I'm sorry. See, I'm blaming the principal on this. because I'm going somewhere. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. It's that time. It's that time. Because something's coming. Something's coming. What's coming?
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Thank you, my sexy is strong, for your $10. I'm so glad and grateful that you came through and dropped me some coins. I appreciate you on this live stream. I really do. Let me, real quick before I continue, let me drop the link because I'm going to have a few people come up and give some commentary in a little bit. But thank you, my sexy is strong. I appreciate it. I appreciate you giving me your time. Your time and represented by your dollars that you can't get back, and I appreciate that. And I will be a good steward of your $10. I swear to God, I will. I'll be a good steward of that. Thank you very much. Yeah, in Allen, that's right, in Allen. I'm cooking. I'm cooking today. I'm cooking because I'm teeing up somebody for somebody else today. I'm teeing up somebody today. So I'm cooking for a reason. The pressure to perform can manifest itself in numerous ways. In numerous ways. For example, Black men may feel that we need to overly excel academically, professionally in order to be successful and respected. We may feel that we need to achieve higher than anybody else in order just to feel adequate. The pressures to perform can manifest itself in many subtle ways. Example, Black men may feel that we need to be more assertive or more aggressive in order to be taken seriously in the workplace or in our social settings. And we already got a bad stereotype about our behaviors in the first place. Oh my God, don't ever get mad about anything. Let me tell y'all something real quick. I got slapped by a nurse at work last year. Do you not know? If I didn't know God, I knew it in that moment. Because that's what it took for me not to floor her. It was a her. You put your hands on me, that's bad business. Because I knew the moment I got angry, raised my voice, it wouldn't have mattered that woman hit me. And she hit me in front of a Black family who had a 19-year-old who was dying in front of us because she was trying to require me to do something that was dangerous, and she didn't know what she was doing and know what she was talking about. Stay in your lane. My image as a Black man, I couldn't do what was natural because it would have even if I would have just raised my voice, it would have no longer been about that this woman put her hands on me. And after she put her hands on me, she ran out the room crying like something happened to her. Crying. They were begging her not to leave because she was for the leave shift because she was so distraught. They begged that woman not to leave shift. My goodness. So yes, the pressure to achieve can make us also forget. It can also make us do things that is counterproductive to our ultimate goal. That's the day I knew. I mean, I knew God, but I knew God then. Because if anybody who know me that oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, that day. And you being overly aggressive or overly assertive in the workforce for a Black man, you know that situation right there will backfire on you big time unless you own the joint. And all of this understanding can lead us to feel inadequate, can give us anxiety, can give us depression. The pressure can lead to physical health problems. All of that bottled up. And I'm going to say something that probably people are not going to like. Is that what the hell happened with Kevin Samuels? The pressure to be number one, to be better. Kevin was better. He was better than anybody in this space, out of this space, white, black, or not. Regardless if you agree with him or not. And if you agree with him 100% of the time, then you're a sycophant. You got to be. There is constructive disagreement, even with somebody that you like and respect. We are expected to be high achievers in every aspect, and like I said, very little room for failure. It is important for Black men to recognize you are not Jesus, and you don't have to be. Being a regular old brother is exceptional. Exceptional. I'm so bad. Being a regular old brother is enough. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to learn from your mistakes without fear, judgment, or disapproval. Here's the bottom line, Black men. You are not Jesus. You should not allow anyone to place that expectation on you, especially your own women. You can be wonderfully flawed like everyone else. Remember, when you achieve, you've already done enough. You've done 2 or 3 times what your counterparts have done. In a little while, we're going to go over and head over to the principal of YouTube, Mr. Terrell Key. I'm going to go ahead and drop his chat in the link. I'm going to drop his link in the chat. Mr. Terrell Key. We're going to go over there in just a little bit. I just dropped his hold on. I just dropped his link in the chat because just in a few minutes, the principal of YouTube, Mr. Terrell Key, will be directly addressing what the manosphere should be doing right now. But before we go over there, I got somebody, Mr. Elemental in the back. Why don't you cam up? Sir, can you unmute?
How you doing?
What you got to contribute today?
Yeah, got you. For me, and I listen, I really truly hear all the things that you're going. Where you and listen, you're so on point with so many of the things that you're going to, right? We do have a pressure to outperform, right? Living in the perceived wage gap, right? The bias in the workplace, right? It takes me back to one of the first things that I mentioned on this network, and I will continue to bring up the brother Stokely Carmichael. You mentioned upward mobility, right? That is one of the reasons why we struggled with the way or with the things that we struggle with, because we are still lacking the keys of upward mobility. He said it was 3 things that get us there, right? Education, money, or know someone who has the money, right? We are still being excommunicated from those spaces, right? So when you talk about we have to be better, absolutely. We have always had to be better. It's the 3-1, right? We have to be 3 times better than the average one cat just to make it, right? And unfortunately, because we've been living in this land of oppression for so long, that's what our people think of each other. You got to be better. You got to be better. That much better than what we already expect you to be, even though you're the most hated and least celebrated.
Mr. Frederick.
I agree. I agree with my brother Mr. Elemental said, man. I really do. But to even amplify that point even more, to amplify what he said even more, and to kind of pull it into a more personal perspective for me, honestly, you know, the one thing that you said, TJ, is that we have to be better, but what does that better get us? What does that better? What is the result of us being better? Because honestly speaking, even if we are better, we're still castigated at length because of because of what we do and what we don't do. Our mistakes and errors are projected on a broader scale than any other race of male. Period. And when they're projected on that broad of a scale, it's it's put out for the whole wide world to see. And it just and being in you said something about us, it's okay to be flawed and things of that nature. It's okay for us to be flawed, but at what cost?
Mm.
What does being flawed cost us? Like you said earlier, it costs us our physical health. It costs us our emotional and mental health, PTSD, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia. All these things are real things that happen to us as men, to us as black men. It happens more to us than it does to any other race. So what
What
is
I
that?
mean,
What does being a regular brother cost us?
Mm.
what I mean by that is,
Come on.
here's what I mean by that. I want us to stop apologizing for being us. I want us to stop Look, I'm gonna get into it in just a minute when I wrap up.
I
This
would
black,
respectfully disagree with you on that one, brother,
yeah,
because
this black manosphere, this thing that we talked about last week with this large YouTuber, white woman YouTuber who said some stupid stuff. Then we had a group of conservative, some so-called conservative black manosphere, anti, black woman. I don't know if they're anti-black woman, but it sure as hell sound like it. Group of men coming to the rescue and aid of this woman, like she's a damsel in distress. I'm saying even with that screw up that those men do, we should be allowed to make that screw up. Just like she was allowed to say something dumb like like slavery was over exaggerated. She ain't gonna get canceled for that. And here's the thing. We hold our own selves to our standard that our counterparts don't hold themselves to. We will push each other out of the box, out of the community, in the name of trying to please Mr. Whitey over there. See.
but where have our
And
standards
he's still,
gotten us?
huh? Here's where I am with it.
Where has our standards gotten us?
Well, and that's where I'm going to get to at the end about what I think should be happening with us. I'm going to get to that in my wrap up and my tee up to Mr. Terrell Key's a stream in about 10 minutes.
All right.
Black men's going to look. I think I may have had a change of heart a little bit. Mr. Elemental, I'm going to give you the last word, then I got to go wrap this up.
I appreciate that. Listen, I appreciate the brother's insight as well. Listen, I think you're on point 100%. We are just scrutinized through different eyes, right? Our responsibility is very different, right? So our smallest slip up becomes national news because they felt intimidated by the sound of our voice, right? It just comes off very different. So yes, sometimes we have to be perfect just to make it home. Think about that.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing with that. But I'm gonna tell my grandmother used to. My mother did not raise me. I was raised by my grandmother. My grandmother took me in when I was 6. My mother had a lot of issues, and currently, as an older woman, she still has those same issues. And my grandmother, throughout the entirety of my life, has made one excuse after another for the bad decisions, the bad habits, the missteps, or whatever the case may be. And I'm gonna say this to my grandmother. I'm gonna say the same thing to us as black men. At what point are we responsible for our own image, our own outcome, and our own narrative? I get it. Hold on a second. Hold on. Give me a second, fellas. Mr. Terrell Key, I see you in the background. Just give me a second. You know, there are some figures that come along that are transcendent figures and become the de facto leaders of a movement. And with Kevin Samuel, there was an organic rise. Losing that figure before we understood what should have been his time really sometimes can leave somebody in a state of disbelief, somebody who rises like that. People have this belief that we can be all powerful. And yes, with our minds, we and our will, we can move a mountain. Then something like May 5th happens, 2022. I was one of thousands who watched Kevin Samuels live sign off and not know that the next morning the brother would be gone. What I am witnessing in this manosphere is what I'm not going to call the Kevin Samuels effect. More specifically, the loss of actual male leadership. Whether he understood this or not, most Black content creators, from the quote manosphere to the hoteps and Black Power to whatever, most creators took their cues from this man. If you can look at a timeline, his timeline, and line up all these other small to large content creators' timelines with him, Kevin Samuels would go live on a Monday, outline the topic and agenda for the week or the issues of the week, and then nearly every Black content creator on YouTube will make content on message with Kevin Samuels. Also, if there was an issue or a beef or a controversy, this man would navigate that behind the scenes and in front of the camera about how we should act. And it was in this fight that we are having or have been having for 3 weeks would have never, that stuff didn't happen in his 2 or 3 year reign. That kind of influence is called leadership. He also discussed feuds people would get into. He would talk specifically about how to handle the conflict. He also talked extensively how to carry yourself in conflict as a Black man, especially Black men, despite being popular over giving Black women feedback, straight no chaser. He held men responsible for the image of Black people because he felt we should own our own narrative. And he constantly railed that Black men need to grab their balls and let them hang unapologetically. Now, when you look at content today, in this Black man space, it's an absolute mess. And the messaging is way off. There's very little collective conversations anymore. And it's more about every man for himself. It's a mess. The manosphere, the pro-Black men, anti-liberal Black men are all at each other's neck over a 26-year-old white woman. Out here looking straight foolish as hell and trying to dox each other. Getting online, telling folk, pull up, pull up, pull up, like y'all about to go throw hands in the middle of the street or something, when we all know most of you ninjas can't even stand up to your own woman. How you gonna stand up to another man? Kevin Samuels was slowly moving the conversation and behaviors towards a single message and a conversation of reconciliation between the Black culture. But it's back to the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Been that way.
Yeah. Before I wrap up, let me make one point. We constantly talk about the necessity of Black male leadership. We talk about how Black women should respect and seek Black men with a healthy dose of leadership. But let's get one thing straight. But the one thing we don't talk about enough is that black men need leaders too. Kevin understood this. He understood this deeply and intimately. When he would address black men, he never forgot to take a moment and hit hard on the need for black men to find mentorship or coaching, or because of the overwhelming majority of black men out here don't have those tools in house, even if we're 40-something years old. He understood that. We often state that, unfortunately, because so many of us didn't receive that, at our age now, we're going to have to go out and pay for it. We're going to have to go out and get it if we're actually sincere about doing what we need to do. He felt this was a necessary step in the evolution of your manhood. But what has black men evolved into? Looking at what has gone down over the last several weeks, one can make the argument black men have evolved into teenage girls. You know, I just thought of something. I think I just had a change of perception. What if this fight that's happening is necessary? What if black men finally need to have it out with one another? Pro-black versus conservative manosphere that worships, the pro-blacks versus the conservative manosphere that worships at the white woman's femininity. What if Pookie and Ray Ray have it out with the regular old brother that black women only that the black women only want? We're talking about the Pookies and Ray Rays. They only want the regular old brother when they're over 60 and dried up and not have any significant value for that man anyway. Maybe it's just time. I don't know. Maybe we need to have it out. And whomever emerges at the top as the top dogs, then maybe we all just need to accept the outcome of who comes out on top. And that group forever controls the narrative of the black man image in this nation. Maybe the civil war that needs to happen amongst black men. That's just a thought. I'm about to put a pin in the conversation and ask everyone to go ahead and join me on Mr. Terrell Key's YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the link right here again. I'm asking everybody to join me over on Mr. Terrell Key YouTube channel for his direct message to the black manosphere and for the rest of black YouTube. I want to thank y'all for who showed up. Oh, one more thing. The last 40 years plus, the black family has been in a downright free fall. We all know. We all know it. We all are watching it. You know what? We're not actively failing, meaning we're not in the process of failing anymore. The failing has already occurred. I think we're just in need of rescue.
I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king and I will never knew. Plotting for my fall, you getting hanged for treason. I don't aim to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can, yo. Can't even get lost, I'm on a pedestal, sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold, I don't do no hoes, I've got a queen though. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, I told you guys before, ready for the war, to get me way much more. Got the hardest parts, item to my kingdom. Shout out to my fans for pledging your allegiance. You get a reward, the best flow you've ever heard. I don't be mixing with birds, I'm a lion on the surge. Always pushing to the edge, facing arrows, never scared. For my greatness I'm a servant, only under myself. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want.
All right, y'all, welcome to the end stream. Wrap up of the stream of the conversation. We only got about 3 or 4 minutes because I gotta go join Mr. Terrell Key on his stream. He's gonna take us home with this. He's gonna take us home with the Black Manosphere stuff, and what he got to do. Real quick at the last minute before we get going with the wrap up. I gotta do something real quick, y'all. Hold on a second. I gotta bust it loose for the wives in the building.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate that. I really do. Thank you for joining us for the few minutes on the wrap-up show. But we're only going to wrap up for a couple of minutes because we got to get over to Mr. Terrell Key. Hey, y'all. So, hey, how did it go?
Good points, man. I mean, good points. I mean, I think that also the counterpoints I made should be talked about as well. I mean, because our standards do exact the greater cost.
Yes.
So
Philly, did you just
at one point we're gonna have to talk about those counterpoints and do a stream, something like that.
What you say?
I'm with my daughter today, so I came on a little bit late.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm here now.
Okay. Mr. Elemento, any final words for you?
You know, I love conversations like this because they deal with so many different aspects of why we deal with the things that we deal with, right? It's not just a straight line issue, which means that it's not just a straight line answer. You know what I mean? There are so many outside influences that come into play when we talk about perception, not only of our oppressors' perception of us, but how that has coalesced into our thinking of how we should see ourselves, right? So our standards for each other are almost unreal, right? Because listen, we when we talk to each other, it's like, oh, don't worry about that, man. We can go out here. We got these other options. We don't have the keys to upward mobility according to their standards, but we know a few tricks that'll make us hood rich, right? And if that's good enough for you, then that's cool, right? Then that's a level of moving on up, if you will, to pretend that you're the Jeffersons. If not, if you really want to do the real work, then we got to address the real issues.
Yeah, definitely.
Word.
All right, guys. Normally, we take 10 minutes and rock out, but I got to get over there because I got to. But if you guys grab the link if you can, if you want to participate over there, because he's going to go hard on this Manosphere thing a lot more than I do. My job today was to set him up. So, and I think I did a good job of that.
I can dig it. Would that make you Magic or CP3?
Magic all day, man. Without the virus.
Did you just make a pre-Kardashian Kanye reference? All right. Listen, I appreciate you, man.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir. All right. You too, man.